You remember I was talking a couple of hours ago about the sleepers. That's when the students from, say, United States, if they are trained in Lumumba University, or developing nations, that's the students I was dealing with, are being sent back from the Soviet Union here. Or if they were already in the United States, in the country, which is the object of subversion, they spring to action. The sleepers go up. They slept for 15 to 20 years. Now they become leaders of groups, preachers, I don't know, public figures. Prominently, they actively include themselves in a political process. All of a sudden, we see a homosexual. 15 years ago, he did his dirty job and nobody cared. Now he makes it a political issue. He demands recognition, respect, human rights, and he rallies a large group of people. And there are violent clashes between him and police, his group and ordinary people, no matter what. It's black against white, yellows against green, doesn't matter where the division line goes. As long as this group come into antagonistic clash, sometimes militantly, sometimes with firearms, that is destabilization process. The sleepers, many of whom are simply KGB agents, become leaders of the process of destabilization. Doesn't mean that Comrade Andropov sends Comrade Ivanov to the United States. The person who takes care is already here. He is a respected citizen of the United States. Sometimes he gets money from various foundations for his legitimate struggle for, I don't know, human rights, women's rights, kid lib, prison lib, whatever. There are sympathetic Americans who donate their money to him. This stabilization process usually leads directly to the process of crisis. In case of developing nations, that's the area where I was active. The process starts when the legitimate bodies of power, the social structure collapse. It cannot function anymore. So instead, we have artificial body injected into society, such as non-elected committees. You remember I was talking about them here. Social workers who are not elected by people, media who are self-appointed rulers of your opinion, some strange groups which claim that they know how to lead society forward. They don't usually. All they care is how to collect donations and sell their own concocted ideology, mixture of religion and ideology. Here, we have all this artificial body claiming power. If the power is denied to them, they take it by force. In case of Iran, for example, all of a sudden we have revolutionary committees. What kind of revolution? There was no revolution yet, and yet they had the committees. They were taking power of judgment. They had the power of execution, they had the power of legislation, and that they had the power of judicial. All of them combined in one person, who is half-baked intellectual, sometimes graduated from Harvard University or Berkeley. His country, and he thinks that he knows the answer to all the social, economical problems. Okay? Crisis is when society cannot function any more productively. It collapses, obviously. That's the word for crisis. So therefore, the population at large is looking for a savior. The religious groups are expecting a messiah to come. The workers say, we have family to feed. Let's have a strong government, maybe socialist government, centralized. When somebody put the employers on their place and let us work. We are sick and tired of going to strike and missing overtime and all that stuff. We need some strong man, strong government, a leader, a savior is needed. Population is sick and tired already. And here we are. We have a savior. Either a foreign nation comes in or the local group of leftists, Marxists, no matter what they call themselves, Sandinista, a reverend or some sort, Bishop Muzureva, like in Zimbabwe, doesn't matter. A savior comes and says, I will lead you. So we have two alternatives here. Civil war and invasion. Okay? See how it goes? Civil war, we know what it is. Lebanon is the best example. The civil war, which was artificially implanted in Lebanon by injection of force of PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. Invasion we have in many other countries like Afghanistan, name any East European country, it was invaded by the Soviet army. But the result is the same. The next stage is normalization. Normalization is a very ironic word, of course. It is borrowed from 1968 situation in Czechoslovakia, when the Soviet propaganda and after them New York Times declared the country is normalized. The tanks moved into Prague, so there's no more Prague Spring, there's no more violence. Normal, normalization. At that stage, the self-appointed rulers of the society don't need any revolution anymore. They don't need any radicalism anymore. So this is the reverse from destabilization. Basically, it is stabilizing the country by force. So all the sleepers and activists and social workers and liberals and homosexuals and professors and Marxists and Leninists are being eliminated physically sometimes. They've done their job already. Okay? They are not needed anymore. The new rulers need stability to exploit the nation, to exploit the country, to take advantages of the victory. So no more revolutions, please. Normalization now. From now on, no more strikes, no more homosexuals, no more women lib, no more kid lib, no more lib, period. A good, solid, democratic, proletarian freedom. That's it. Now, to reverse this process takes enormous effort. When today, United States had to invade Grenada to reverse the process of subversion. Some people say, boy, this is not good, it's not kosher to invade the beautiful country, island of Grenada. Well, why didn't you stop the process here, when Grenada was just approached by leftists? Why not to prevent Maurice Bishop to come in power in the first place? Did Grenadians want him? Very questionable. They didn't know who was Maurice Bishop in the first place. He came to power by coup d'etat himself. Okay? No, we let the situation develop further and further and further until the crisis and normalization very soon. And then the United States decided to invade country, discovering that the country was absolutely a military base for the Soviet Union. Of course it's a drastic measure. Of course it's a pity that Marine Corps had to lose, what, 17 lives. Very bad. Why not to stop the process before it comes to crisis? Oh, no, intellectuals will not let you. It's interference into domestic affairs. They're very careful not to let American administration to interfere in domestic affairs of Latin American countries. They don't mind Soviet Union interfering in these affairs. Okay. So to reverse this process, from here, it takes only and always military force. No other force on earth can reverse this process at this point. At this point, it does not take military invasion of the United States Army. It takes strong action, like in Chile, a CIA covert involvement to prevent the savior from outside to come into power and to stabilize country before it erupts into civil war.
Good morning and peace to everybody who is in the building. How y'all doing? I know it's early morning. Most people are sleeping right now, but hey, let's get into it. What the clip I just played is was a seminar by this gentleman named Yuri Bezmenov. His background, he was a ex KGB who defected to the United States from USSR, what today is Russia. And basically he was explaining that he played a double agent going to different countries to destabilize. And basically he explained that uh, when many people think about espionage, they think of James Bond, but he said what you see in James Bond is only 10% of what a spy really does. He says a spy's job is to not do the whole thing you see on James Bond. A spy's job is basically to influence the society to various means, whether intellectual, entertainment, etc., etc. So they're in all parts of society, and their job is to basically change the thinking of the people. Right now, you know what I'll do? I'll copy the link of this clip that I just played. So for those of you who missed it, you can actually listen to it. Hold on one second. I'll post in the chat. Okay. Let me post it right there. All right. Now, the major news that everybody's waking up to. I saw it last night. Uh, but I was like, I'm already tired. But Nick Cannon, right? I woke up this morning looking at the message. What the theme that's right now? I'm looking at the Variety website. It says Nick Cannon dropped by Viacom, right? Some people said Viacom, CBS after making anti-Semitic comments, right? That's on one article, and in other news, they're saying that Nick Cannon made some racist comments towards white people or Caucasian people, and so each article, I guess, who the writer are deciding which part of the news they want to report. But I don't know if TMZ had had the news on their website. Let me see if I can go there and see if they're mentioning it. Okay, they do mention it. Okay, it's like the fifth. Okay, let me see. Uh, this is the tab. Oh, actually, on TMZ, when you click on it, it leads you to a website called 2Fab, right? And it says fans support Nick Cannon after Viacom CBS firing for hateful speech, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. That's from this website. Uh, what I'll do is I'm gonna drop the the was it StreamYard link. Those who want to jump in, but you're gonna be in the background because I just want to speak on it for a few minutes before I let anybody jump in. So I just posted the link there, so you guys, whoever wants to come in the panel, shout out to Cut to Chase. I saw his video whenever he posted. I got the notification, and I'm also actually gonna thank him because his approach. He mentioned something about the cancel culture, and he's totally right because he's like the people were influenced about this quote unquote trend of silencing people who say something you don't like, but like the saying goes, what goes around comes around. So it's like it's the same people who promoted this cancel culture are promoting it out towards those who were supporting it, quote unquote. So let me continue. Let me read the Variety article. Basically, it says in the June 30 episode of Cannon's Class, the actor and TV host interviewed Professor Grift, a rapper who was a part of Public Enemy before leaving the group after making anti-Semitic remarks. We're gonna stop there. The first thing he mentions, right? It says that Nick Cannon is an actor and TV host. I'm gonna focus on that word, actor. When you hear that, you have to ponder and think. He's an actor, right? That's his job, his career. So this is just gonna be a rhetorical question. Does a actor stop acting after finishing his after leaving his job? Something to ponder, right? Now, this is on Variety. This basically, in Variety, they're focusing more on the anti-Semitic comments that he made. And one thing that's interesting, whenever that interview he had with Professor Griffith was going around, because they mentioned about black people being the chosen people and all that stuff. Whenever you were looking for that video on YouTube, you couldn't find it, and then whoever uploaded a video, like it was like they had like a 4 minute clip and stuff like that, YouTube will deleted it. Like it was a hard interview to find because it wasn't available. YouTube was deleting it. So uh at that time it's like, okay, he said it, but it's like, can we actually hear and prove it? No, you can find it. You can find it. So back then, they say it was published in June 30, right? So back then when it came out, we had no access to it. So the question is, why is it accessible now after all this time? How out of nowhere he's back on the major news, and that the interview or that clip is back on YouTube. You can find on YouTube now. Like, I mean, is YouTube playing games or something? Like censorship is an all-time high. It's like they pick and choose when to censor a certain information, and they pick and choose when to allow that information when it benefits, quote unquote, the main theme, or was it rhetoric. Let me continue. It says, I'm still on the Variety website. On the podcast, Cannon said black people are the true Hebrews and talked about anti Semitic conspiracy theories involving the Rothschilds family. It says, it's never hate speech. You can't be anti Semitic when we are the Semitic people, Cannon said. When we are the same people who they want to be. That's our birthright. We are the true Hebrews. Now, uh, this whole thing, like the focus, how they're saying, uh, some of the things they're saying is true, but it's like there's more to than just this little, was a quote, because those who are very knowledgeable, they have to understand that the word Hebrew comes from a man named Eber in the Bible. Eber was a man. He was, he had children. So all of the children who that came out of his loins, they were called Hebrews. So it wasn't just the more focus, the correct phrase he should have said. He should have said we are the true Israelites, because Israelites are part of the Hebrews, but the Hebrews there was many nationality that were quote unquote Hebrews, because all of them, their descendants, they are descendants to this guy named Eber. But that's for another subject. But what I'm saying is, knowing that Nick Cannon is an actor and TV host, meaning he's in the public view, nothing that they do is quote unquote an accident or a coincidence. They're reading a script. Even if you were to watch that video, you can see the way his eyes move. He's reading a script. He's not using his mind. He's reading. Somebody told him to say something. But the question you should ask why is he saying this thing? Uh, like why? Why is the media talking about it? Because the media has been for all these years, the quote unquote Hebrew Israelites, they've been on the street. That was a label the government gave them. They were just calling them, so we are the Israelites, right? But they put the label Hebrew Israelites. So the question is, all these years, right? Even when I realized when I find that out, right, back in 2009, 2010, to me, nobody, not even major news, will even mention or refer to anything related to that subject. They never wanted to touch it. Not even to quote unquote the people who are accusing him for anti-Semitic speech. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody was talking about it. The question is, why now in 2020? Why now? A few days ago, it was the Eagles football player, Deshaun Jackson, right? He posted it on his Instagram, and they forced him to come publicly to apologize for expressing his opinion. All he did is he just posted an image, and he said, "Oh, that's a fact," right? That's all he said. And because he also referenced, was it Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam Church or mosque, he got in trouble, right? And a few weeks back, it was Ice Cube. Like Ice Cube went on a rampage on his page, posting a lot of interesting posts, pictures, memes, and stuff like that. And the media jumped on him. Um, they began to basically attack him. They say, Why can you say stuff like this and stuff like that? What's going on with you? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And they're bringing up his past and the things he say when he used to be part of the NWA. Let me continue on the article. It says a Viacom CBS spokesperson. Who's that person? Like, released a statement to Variety saying that the company's relationship with Canon is now terminated. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is it that easy to terminate a contract? Because when you sign a contract, it's a contract. Regardless of what happens in between, you must move forward. So how you gonna cut a contract? That's a breach of contract. So let's see. It says Viacom CBS condemns bigotry of any kind, and we categorically denounce all forms of anti-Semitism. We have spoken with Nick Cannon about an episode of his podcast, Cannon's Class, on YouTube. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me all these times they never said anything? Why didn't do it then? It says, which promoted hateful speech and spread anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Now, wait a minute. Hold on, hold on. This is the problem. Like how the language that's being used here. Let me ask you: if a black person is speaking out on black crime, saying that we need to stop the violence amongst ourselves, that we as a people we need to come together and stuff like that. By him speaking like that, is he a does he hate black people? Is he against his people for him speaking out because of the bad things that happen? Is he against his people? Is that anti-black to basically uh, was it plead with the people to stop the violence amongst each other, to be upright and everything? So if black people are Semitic people, right? We are part of that, and it's not Semitic because Semitic is the Greek Grecian rendition of the word Shem. Shemitic it should be Shemitic, not Semitic. So the Shemitic people, right? If they are, and there's a lot of them out there, it's not just us or quote unquote the Jewish people. Arabs are Shemitic people. Palestinians are Shemitic people. Some tribes of Syria are Shemitic people. Some people in Iraq are Shemitic people. Some people in Iran are Shemitic people. Some people in India are Shemitic people. So who has the authority and basically go like who has the authority to claim being a Shemite? Like who has that authority to be like, hey, you can't say this because you know us. Wait a minute. I am us. What are you talking about? Hey, what's up, Deborah? Yeah, what you say is correct, but that's why I don't know if you're just getting here. That's why I mentioned that people have to remember first and foremost, Nick Cannon is an actor, and what do actors do? They act. He's doing his job, and he's getting paid for it. That's why I said I'm actually surprised that the news is actually touching on this topic because it's for a purpose, it's for a reason. We've been, for those people who've been in this truth, talking about the identity of a certain group of black people and what has happened with history, and basically using the Bible to show proof and prophecy. Mainstream news never touched this subject. So the question is, w- uh, the main people who are nobodies on YouTube, online, right, or out here in real life, nobody cared, right? The media never mentioned them, nothing. But why are they gonna pick somebody who is an actor and put him as the face of him speaking for quote unquote Hebrew Israelites on national on a national stage? He's just an actor. He's doing his role. He's here acting as he's told. So the narrative now is being played that he's quote unquote anti-Semitic. But the thing is, people who will be emotional, the message is gonna go over their head because if black people are claiming their identity as Israelites, how is that anti-Semitic? If it is true, right? Shouldn't they be like, oh, our brothers, they're finally waking up. We didn't read it. We need to do more studies. No, that's why I said they're not going and basically accusing the quote unquote the people who are actually out here and talking about this subject, and uh, they're gonna drag this whole thing throughout all this week. You just watch. Let me continue what the uh, the spokesman of Viacom was saying. He says, continue. He says, while we support ongoing education and dialogue in the fight against bigotry, we are deeply troubled that Nick has failed to acknowledge or apologize for perpetrating anti Semitism, and we are terminating our relationship with him. We are committed to doing better in our response to incidents of anti Semitism, racism, and bigotry. Viacom will have further announcements on our effort to combat hate of all kinds, the company said. And it said on Monday, I think Nick Cannon posted on his Twitter, he said, anyone who knows me knows that I have no hate in my heart, no malice intentions. I do not condone hate. Uh, I do not condone hate speech, nor the spread of hateful rhetoric. We are living in a time where it's more important than ever to promote unity and understanding. Until then, I hold myself accountable for this moment and take full responsibility because my intentions are only to show that as a beautiful human species, we have way more commonalities than differences. So let's embrace those as well as each other. We all family. Uh yeah, and there's basically a lot of drama with this and stuff like that. But this is the article from Variety, and the thing is, whenever you read different articles, they pick and focus because I know on one article it said that they're focusing on one of the phrase that he said when he mentioned he said that quote unquote the Caucasian because of the jealousy of not having as much melanin as quote unquote dark skinned people. Their actions prove the savagery or something like that. So uh, some articles are focused on that, and then you have like stars of popular online personalities saying, "Hey, even some of them are black." They say, "How can you say that? Melanin and all this that it's like when in Chicago there's violence, black on black crime. So how can you say that melanin makes you, loving and all that when our actions speak otherwise?" So what I'll do is like, I know, I know some of the videos. Uh, you know what? Maybe I don't know if I should play that clip where he had with Professor Grift, but I'm afraid because it might be copyrighted. I don't know if YouTube will pick it up, but let me see. I saw because this video you can find it online. You can find it online. So it's like I'm actually surprised that this video has resurfaced. So this goes to show you the power of censorship, where they can pick and choose what information to allow, and it's amazing the power of the media that they have on us, man. Like it's amazing. Uh, Let me see if I can play it. Oh shoot, yeah. Because I want you guys to hear for yourself or what was said and decide. Well, did he say something wrong? Was what's going on? So let me see. And please, for those coming in, please welcome to the show. I'm trying to get things going. uh, and this is the thing that's gonna be happening. Like it's gonna be a major news, and Nick Cannon, he's a talented guy. So, but the one thing that surprised me about this whole thing is almost every major news is talking about it. I mean, literally, almost everybody's talking about it. Like right now, on like almost every news outlet is mentioning this. So my question is, I'm like, why now? Why now? It's let me see. Oh, see, I was right. I saved the video where Nick Cannon was basically uh talking about uh the audio that I have. Guess what? They deleted that video. Censorship. Wow. I'm so glad that maybe it's a good thing I didn't play on my. Yeah. Wow. Wow. I've been talking about censorship. Wow. They deleted that video just. Wow. Wow. Guys, they were quick, man. Like this, I think this guy uploaded that video. It was like 4 minutes. I was watching Cut to the Chase video he just posted on this subject, right? So as I was searching, I'm like, okay, Nick Cannon's speech, and then I think I saw three or two or three pages where they re-uploaded that clip, right? And I saved that clip because that's what because I was thinking about doing a show, which I'm doing right now, right? And I went on my playlist to look for it. It's gone, deleted. Wow. We're what we're witnessing. This is the power of the media, the power of censorship. Well, I think Wilding Out is part of Viacom, right? Because Viacom is like it's like the head, and there are many companies attached to it. So if Viacom fires you from their country, that means anything attached to it is over. Hey, what's up, Evan Duncan? Yeah. And speaking of this, check this out, Evan. I saved the clip where they're talking about it, right? Where he was talking with Professor Grift, which ironically, when it was first published, right? No, you can find it online. YouTube was deleting everything, right? So you can find it. So now that it's like part of the main news, they say, "Oh, a video resurfaced." That's what it's saying. Oh, a video resurfaced where Nick Cannon said some anti-Semitic rhetoric or whatever, right? I saw the video. Someone re-uploaded it this morning after I watched Cut to the Chase, right? And I saved the video because I was gonna play it, right? That video is deleted. They took it out. It's gone. So censorship is an all-time high, man. Like that's why I'm like, man, I'm speaking on this subject. That's why I even had to change the title. I'm putting a title, asking questions. Is Nick Cannon a racist? Because his name is gonna be an algorithm, so they're gonna be looking for. Okay, let's find somebody who's we're gonna squash him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Yeah, no more job on TV. But at the same time, he's an actor. So the question is, if he's part of the main stage and he's an actor, should we take him seriously, or should we take this whole thing seriously, or is this another propaganda machine to basically? Oh, whoa! Speaking of which, yesterday Jessica told me there was an article about some guy on the airplane from was it Alaska Airlines. Basically they lifted off, but I guess they say he began to go crazy in the plane, talking about I'm gonna terminate everybody. I chose the word terminate, for to make it more PG. I'm gonna terminate everybody on this plane if you guys don't accept that Jesus is black, right? So but I went on TMZ. On TMZ, all they said it was just a crazy guy on a plane, and he was a Christian loony screaming in the name of Jesus, I'm gonna kill everybody. So TMZ omitted that information. But on the other article, it gave you everything. It says that the main title of the article said uh, a passenger basically held the plane hostage or something that had to turn around because he was saying he say if people had to accept that Jesus was black. You see, like I don't know, like maybe because it's there's so many stuff happening. I'm like, do you see where this is going? And it's confirming what some of the people I was watching they say. Don't be surprised in the coming years where they will change the face of terrorism to be black people, and not only just black people. It's going to be black people who believe that they are the real Israelites of the Bible, that they're gonna be the face. So every agenda they've done when it came with Muslim and everything is all leading to this. Oh yeah, I know who runs MZ. We know. Yeah. So it's all leading to this. And my question is, we're in a pandemic. Shouldn't the media focus on how to make lives better, how the earth is in there? Like, how do they have the time to do all this? Most people out here, they're trying to make a living. Guess what? It's not just black people who are losing jobs. It's Asians, it's whites, it's Hispanic, it's everybody. Everybody is on the same boat. But you see how they're trying to do to divide and conquer? And man, I'm no prophet, right? I started doing this live streaming Sunday. In the last 2 days, I already experienced the power of censorship. And this is what I said. I said in the coming months, censorship is gonna be so high that voices like mine will be off the internet. They're gonna start getting rid of everybody that they don't like, and it won't matter if you use coding or anything. If your rhetoric doesn't go with the mainstream, they're gonna get rid of you. And look what just happened within 2 or 3 days. My prediction, I was saying that it's gonna be between the month of August. I'm like a lot of events is gonna happen, but in the coming months, this is what happened. But and it's not even a month, it's not even a week, and we are really witnessing it. So the thing is, they're trying to redirect the narrative that quote unquote the Hebrew Israelites have been saying for years. But like I say, when the incident also happened over there in the White House, remember like those kids that were those little kids that went to Washington D.C. and the Native Americans went during their march, and then the Hebrew Israelites they showed up and they began preaching the Bible and stuff like that. It was major news, but the news didn't. They just say, "Oh, some hate group out there. They just came there. They were just bothering those kids, right?" But it's like now, all of a sudden, oh, anybody who mentions, oh, it's anti-Semitic, it's anti. Why all this time the media never touched that subject? Why now? Why 2020? See, a lot of people who don't understand, they don't know the history of this whole thing. Hebrew Israelites have been here for years, all the way even back in the 90s. What's his name? The white brother who used to have a show where he used to do a lot of an interview, and they even had Mr. Farrakhan on his show. I forgot his name. He had white hair and stuff like with glasses. Uh, ah, his name was on my head, my tongue. I forgot. Donahue. Like I think his last name is Donahue, and they even had some sect of Hebrew Israelites back then on on his show. That was back in the 90s. But toward all these years, for the last what 15, 16 years, nobody in the mainstream media was talking about this subject. Nobody was touching it. Nobody was saying like even if something related to it. Not the media may say something, oh, some extremists, but they will never use on their articles say black Hebrew Israel. Nothing. So the question is, why now? And then now Nick Cannon is the next person in line, and this is what they say in the article. They say because Nick refused to apologize, that's why they basically cutting their relationship short. So the football, oh Phil, yeah, Phil Donahue, yeah, yeah. Um, a few days ago, it was that was it that new was it the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles player Deshaun Jackson, right? He came out and he apologized, right? He apologized, and he they say, "Oh, you need to go to reprogramming. We need to take you to the Jewish museum so we can reprogram you and all that stuff, right?" And people will still say, "Oh, you know what? I don't want to accept his apologies. Who I don't care. He say what he say. He needs to do more than just going to the museum. You need right." But then Nick Cannon refused because even the Deshaun guy, even the Eagles, they were like, "Well, we're debating whether to let him go for what he said." But the difference is Nick Cannon, he's an actor. He is an actor and TV host. Keyword actor. Same thing with Will Smith. Actors. Actors never lose character. I repeat, actors never stop acting. I hope you understand what I'm implying. They never stop acting. Their lives are a movie. So they're gonna drag this news this whole week. This is gonna be, hey, everybody's gonna forget about Will and Jada. Watch, everybody's gonna but at the same time, maybe this topic will not be uh as popular as Jada and Will because sex. That's the main reason. Their topic is popular because it's sex. So of course everybody's gonna jump on that subject. But this one, maybe some people be like, I don't want to touch that because it's was it you going too far in the water, you're going too deep, towards the deep sea, and I'll just say in a show here and talk about Will and Jada, this is more, it's about sex, so I'll be fine, I don't want to go too far over there. So that's so I can see where a lot of people won't touch on this subject, but this thing right here, my focus is why now, why all mainstream media now are publishing articles talking about black people being Israelites, that this rhetoric is anti-Semitic. Why? Because just like they did to the Muslim, they are really labeled black identity extremists. They are really labeled it. You guys remember that? BIA, black identity extremists. And then that basically the FBI came out with that term, and basically they say any black person who claims some sort of identity other than black is a black identity extremist. Yeah, look it up. I was shocked. Like, see, a lot of people say, "Oh, fasting you with your conspiracy theories and all that stuff," and you know, a lot of people clown me, but the thing is, everything I've been saying is coming true. Everything I've been saying so far. So I 2 days ago, I think I had a stream where I'm telling people that they took away your sports and they took away your religion. Why? Because it's over. Everything as it is there is nothing for you to escape or something to cope, right? Because people don't realize religion and sports was basically the drug for the poor to escape their misery, to escape their servitude, to escape their, you know, their anxiety. But now that they've taken it away from you, you have nothing to lean on, nothing to cope. So basically, everything you're getting is raw. It's raw. And for those of you who remember, raw. Raw is life. Now you're gonna experience reality as it is, or as it's always been. But they had to give you sport to keep you distracted, and they tried with the marching because they realized people were getting tired of staying at home, so they pulled the march, and they forgot everything about the virus. The governments, everybody, they didn't stop the people from marching. Where a few days before the whole marching movement, they were telling people self quarantine, stay home. Everything is shut down. They're punishing businesses for opening up. They say if you open, we're gonna fine you $10,000. Close up. People losing jobs, everything. Some people panicking. Some people, taking themselves out because they're losing everything. They can't take the pressure. So they felt that, oh my God, the people must snap. So let's give them something. Let's get them out, right? Redirecting their rage. And that's what they're doing. So because they're not giving you sport, they had to find something that you can find coping. So they gave you March, George Floyd, Ahmed. That's his name actually. It's Ahmed, but they changed the wording. And then after it's all said and done, go back to your chamber. Quarantine, stay home. The virus is out there. It's gonna take you out. Stay home. Stay home. Code red. Level red. It's not level yellow anymore. It's called level red. Danger, danger, danger. Man, I keep telling guys, I'm like, come January 2021, a lot of people gonna be saying, fasting was right. Fasting was right. Fasting was right. Right now, the reason why you guys can see what I see, or some of you cannot see what I see because it's like you don't see it yet. You hear it's coming, but you're like, nah, I don't think we'll get to that part. I don't think. That's why a lot of people think, nah, it's not gonna happen now. I don't believe it. But I'm saying, look around you, look what's going on. This is gonna lead to something, and that something is this. No, it's not. No, 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 no. And this is another thing they're telling us lowly people, we're nobodies compared to them. Compared to nickname, who am I? I'm nobody, right? So what the media is showing you is, if we can silence somebody as big as Nick Cannon, who the hell are you? You quote unquote YouTube content creator. Who are you compared to this guy? You nothing. So if we can keep his mouth shut, you just a bug. We can just squash you. So stay home, wear your mask, and shut up. Man, this thing, man. Oh, Evan, uh, you probably missed it. Check this out. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but I mentioned that I wanted to play Nick Cannon's audio so other people can hear it. And when I went to look for it, I saved it for this show. They deleted that video. So you guys can try and look up, Nick Cannon, like, because I know that's what everybody's talking about. Like, if you type in Nick Cannon fire, you're gonna see a bunch of videos, and some of them uploading the the quote or the interview he had with Professor Griffith. And I can guarantee you that, if let's say if you watch it, right, you find one and you watch it and you try to go back to it, it's gonna be deleted. I guarantee you, it's gonna be deleted. Let me post the link in the chat for those who want to come in. Looks like I got 5 people right now. I know it's early morning. Some people are sluggish. Some people are at work. But you guys are welcome to chime in. I'm just rambling right now. Uh, so I said, man, it's like I'm sitting here. I'm like, man, I should be a pastor and get paid, man, because I'm prophesying left and right, and I'm no prophet. All I'm doing is I'm just analyzing what's going on and giving a little bit of prediction. I say that in the coming weeks, months, uh, censorship is gonna be all time high, and bam, the next day we get one of the biggest news of censorship. Nick Cannon fired for having his voice. That was done like a few months ago, a few weeks ago. So the question is, if they can censor this big person who's known, then everybody smaller than him, if they get real, who's gonna defend you? Nobody can defend you. And and here's another question that I can show. Okay, where is Black Lives Matter? Right, YouTube shut down my stream yesterday. Um, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, yesterday, Monday. They shut down my stream that I had about Black Lives Matter, the organization, and they shut me down. So my question is, Nick Cannon is black, right? He he had a voice, he had his free speech, he has a life, right? A livelihood, and Viacom just cut it short because they didn't like what he said. So will Black Lives Matter go out and march for a black life? that has been silenced by the media? Will that happen? Will Black Lives Matter defend a black man? Will Black Lives Matter defend this black man for expressing his first right, or first was a First Amendment rights? I keep saying, man, a lot of people are not ready for what's coming. They took away religion and sports because what they have for you in the coming days and months, there will be no coping. Not even if you take a substance to ease your mind, it's not gonna work. People will still continue to lose jobs. Businesses are filing for bankruptcy, and natural disasters are always on the rise. And we're in a hurricane season. You know, don't forget that too. It's very hot. You know, yesterday they said the report. Yesterday throughout the country, it was a lot of record breaking. It was one of the hottest day America has ever experienced. Many places from the east coast to the west coast reaching over 95 degrees, over 100 degrees. And guess what people have to do under that sun? They're wearing a mask. They're wearing a mask under that heat because they're told to. So, like I said, the numbers of people who will be getting sick in the coming weeks, days, it's not going to be from a virus. It's going to be that mask. But they're not even talking about that subject when it comes to health, the people, and all that. They're turning to stuff like this, all hate speech and stuff like that. Is telling the truth hate speech now? And not only that, because I focus more on was it Bible stuff and all that. The Bible, sooner or later, speaking on it or preaching, that's why they're shutting down a lot of Christian churches. They already did the test, because if they can forbid you to gather because of a virus, guess what? They can make you not gather or have church for anything, for any reason. They will be like, oh no, uh, there is a radical movement, so you guys cannot gather because that Bible. The First Amendment gave that Congress will basically will not make any favors or for or against any religious establishment. That's what it says in the First Amendment. So it's in a law, but the actions being taken is against the law. uh, it's this thing, man. Censorship is an all-time high. It's amazing what we're witnessing right now. Like sometimes it's like you say something, people hear you, but they're like, it doesn't affect me, so I don't mind. Like people don't understand. Almost every major news is talking about this. All of them are talking about this, about black people being Israelites. It's good and bad at the same time. But I'm saying just sit there and think. The people who've been saying it, who are nobodies, they've been online. We Some of us know who they are, right? Those channels and stuff like that, right? They've been talking about this topic about the identity of the not only African American here in North America, South America, Asia, Africa, saying that you had to scatter people of the book, right? The media never touched it. Why are they touching this subject now? Why now? What is coming after this whole thing, like this whole theater that we're seeing? Then the people who are in the front news, they're not those who we know, right, on this YouTube stream, or that we know who've been speaking about this for years, like the Hebrew Israelite churches, temples, synagogues, whatever. None of them, right? Why is it only mainstream people that they're portraying as a representative of that message? That's what I'm saying. Like Nick Cannon is an actor. As an actor, he's reading a script that he's being told what to say. So why did they didn't go after, or they didn't go after the people? Because he barely say anything. You guys, I don't know if you watch Hebrew Israelites videos. Man, they're raw. Like, they're wild because they're just raw truth, and they attack with their words. Like they're very direct. Why the media didn't uh why the media didn't go after those guys, but they're going after quote unquote one of their own puppets? Now, I know for now, I'm sure some people are at work. So what I'll do is I've been rambling for like almost an hour or 45 minutes because I was playing the little audio. What I'll do is I'll play another audio. Uh, it's from the same gentleman, Yuri Bizmanov, and basically he talks about subversion and stuff like that, about how they will use what do you call it, civil rights and the rights of the minority and all that stuff, the PC culture as a way to subvert the nation towards an agenda that they actually been using in Russia and many Marxist and communist countries, right? So basically, you they come under the guise of, oh, we the people, we're here for the people, but the agenda is more sinister than that. So I'm gonna play his audio and come back. So I'll post it to StreamYard so people who want to jump in can jump in. And please like and share so others can join in. I know a lot of people are not doing any show right now. So uh, let's see. Let me play the audio so you guys can hear. This interview was made in 1985. So almost 35 years ago. Yuri Bizmanov was basically speaking about the agenda that was already working here in our nation that a lot of people had no idea. So 1 second, I'm about to play right now. Let me go on mute. 1 second.
Reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in four basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense people who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and
Yes.
who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes. Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. They will join the links of dissenters, dissidents.
Yes.
Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. This they don't understand, and it will be a greatest shock for them, of course. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. So basically, America is stuck with demoralization, and unless, even if you start right now, here, this minute, you start educating new generation of Americans, it will still take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide of ideological perception of reality back to normalcy and patriotism. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, it's what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis.
Man, like, I don't know what that audio sounded to you, man, but it's so profound. And this interview was like 35 years ago when he had this interview. The interview is like I think an hour and 20 minutes long or something. Like everything is said right there. Like it's basically he summarized everything that I've been trying to say when it comes to this whole thing. That it's all part of the subversion. Like it's leading us to something that many of us are clueless. We're not seeing what's happening. Like a frog being cooked. You know, he's still inside the bowl, not realizing that hey, you're being cooked, man. You're being cooked. And I'm just sitting here scratching my head like why they why they're doing all this now? Like why they why are they now talking about this subject that they nobody wanted to touch on? And it's not they're not even trying to prove that what he said was wrong. They're openly just saying that whatever he said is anti-Semitic. It's hate. You mean to tell me finding out my identity and telling the world is hate? Are you telling us that the BIE, bi, black identity extremist is real? Is that what you're telling us, the people? That it's not a conspiracy anymore, but that it's actually happening. It's true. What say you guys? Man, we'll see in the coming days where this goes, but to me, I'm like this news is unmeasurable. Nick Cannon, of all people. So does that mean Ice Cube is next? Will Ice Cube be let go? Where is Ice Cube? Is he gonna say something? Let me see. Let me go on his Instagram page. Let me see if Ice Cube has said anything about this. Ice Cube. Let me see. He hasn't said anything yet. Let me see Nick Cannon. If he's on, I bet you what's gonna start happening. They're probably gonna remove him from social media. And it's interesting. 2 days ago, he had on his Instagram, he posted a picture of his keyboard, and on the keyboard he has a book from the Nation of Islam by Elijah Muhammad. The title of the book, guess what it says? It says "Message to the Black Man." So, is, did he know that was gonna lead to this? Is that why he's doing all this? And his last post was 18 hours ago. He said it's like a clip. It says, "Just finished a great fundraiser in our community called Harlem Serves Up, focused on minority-owned businesses and communities, and then restaurants." Huh. And I'm reading the comments. Some people are saying, "We stand with you. Never apologize for speaking the truth. You're not canceled, boo boo. You said what needed to be said. Keep preaching, King. You ain't lie one bit, Nick. There's literally centuries of objective data and evidence, including your own experience. Time to say what we used to keep in the circle." Here's a opposing view. He says, Eminem didn't even have to destroy Nick's career. He did it himself. uh, another one says, "Brother, please don't apologize for your statement. They're gonna try to get you too, but please don't. We still stand with you." Another one says, "You're pretty privileged yourself." Those are the naysayers. But yeah, you guys can go on his page. I think on his Twitter page, which is interesting. All Nick Cannon is doing on his Twitter page is everybody who's supporting him and saying something about him, and it was tagging his name. He's just retweeting them. He's not saying anything. He's just retweeting their like other people's opinion about him. So that's how he's doing right now. So that's interesting too. So again, since he's an actor, I'm taking everything that he's doing. I'm just careful. I'm like, you know, I don't really trust you, and I know what you're doing and stuff like that. So, are we sure he's genuine about what he's doing, or is just another act that the his boss have him do to further the agenda on of BIE, Black Identity Extremist? So, I think I say enough. I've been rambling on for an hour, and I know it's early. A lot of people are probably at work or sleeping. So what I'll do is I'm gonna end this stream and just basically leave you guys with a question. I'm like, is Nick Cannon very genuine, or he's doing something that he was told to? So please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any opinion about this video, don't be shy to comment on when it's processed, so we can have more further topics. So I hope all the YouTubers, YouTube content could talk about this subject, so we can have a conversation on this. I know right now, I'm chilling at home, and a lot of people are at work, so maybe I started this stream way too early. Everybody is hustling out there, so but I'll come back with another stream. I'll probably make another like a small video for focusing on the little article about that guy on the plane. That article about this Christian guy who supposedly was screaming on a plane that he's gonna terminate everybody if they don't accept that Jesus is black. So that's an interesting article. So thank you guys for showing up, and stay tuned for more info. How about that? Thank you.